Archaeology is the science that studies the change that take place from the ancient societies to the present ones through material remains conserved through time located all over the world's geography. Archaeologists sometimes find fascinating things like a treasure or a very old work of art. But sometimes they find scary things like the ones we'll show you next in this top 5 scariest archaeological discoveries. Let's start. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With this being said, let's begin. 5. Cemetery of Elongated Skulls. In the Mexican state of Sonora, a cemetery was discovered that houses rare skulls. According to the experts from the National Institute of Anthropology and History, who announced the discovery, the cemetery is more than 1,000 years old. The scientists who directed the research found about 25 individuals, of which 13 have a bone deformation and the rest have mutilated teeth. This could be due to the customs and sacrifices made in the past. Without a doubt, something surprising and strange. Experts point out that the surprise of this finding is that there's no other archaeological site in this part of Mexico where similar fossils modifications have been identified. 4. Otzi the Iceman. In 1991, a group of researchers were in the Swiss Alps. While they were working near the border between Italy and Austria, they found Otzi, the famous Iceman. Archaeologists couldn't believe that these remains were so well preserved. The circumstances of his death are a scientific mystery, although the main hypothesis is that the hunter bled to death after an arrow pierced the body through the back and receiving a blow to the head. 3. The Moa from the caves of Mount Owen. Mount Owen is located in the inhospitable mountainous region of New Zealand, an area full of places that seem to come from the best medieval fantasies. To get an accurate idea, many of the scenes of The Lord of the Rings were filmed there. A few years ago, a group of researchers planned an excavation. Once there, the archaeologists found what you can see in the image, the leg of an ancient creature known as Moa, extinct more than 500 years ago. As you can see, it's well preserved, practically in perfect conditions. Can you imagine being there and running into this terrifying object? 2. The first vampire in history. A sword stuck in the heart or burning someone are some of the best known ways to kill a vampire. But these methods seemed like they were not enough in the 16th century. At that time, to make sure these creatures were dead and were going to stop sucking blood, a brick was put in his mouth in order to make sure they would die of hunger. At present, several archaeologists have found cases like that. As the one that happened in Venice, the scientists found a common grave, the remains of a 60-year-old woman with a brick in her mouth. According to Matteo Bordini, this discovery is the first vampire in history. 1. Screaming mummies. In 1886, the archaeologist Gaston Maspero, who headed the Egyptian Antiquities Service, discovered a casket very different from the ones he used to find in his work. This didn't have any type of inscription and had nothing to identify it. When he opened it with his team of investigators, they found something terrible. Incredibly preserved bodies of mummies, embalmed with sheep's wool, something that for the Egyptian was a kind of dishonor. In the same way, the corpses had, inexplicably, their legs and arms tied. The most disturbing in this finding was that their faces had a deep expression of despair, as if they were screaming. Yeah.